Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg promises to end all traffic fatalities. As part of that bold plan includes installing more traffic cameras. One America's Christina Bobb has more from Washington.
Horace Cooper, the chairman of Project 21's National Advisory Board, Department of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is working on a new regulation that would impact speed limits and traffic safety. What's the latest?
Okay, so when I worked on Capitol Hill, one of the things that the Republicans did that I got to play an instrumental role in was repealing Washington's control over speed limit laws. The left said this is going to decimate the American population. Every death was going to be on Newt Gingrich and Dick Armey's shoulders. Here's what we found out. When we were able to speed up a little bit, when we were able to raise the speed limits, Americans didn't die. In fact, the number of deaths on our highways dropped, and they continued dropping for the next 10 years. A state like Texas, where I live, has an 85-mile-an-hour speed limit. Suddenly, in December, the Department of Transportation announced there's been a spike. The number of deaths on American highways has started to rise. They don't ask why. They don't talk about any of the issues that may be unique to this. They've decided it's the speed limit. But worse than deciding that, they've come up with a plan. And their plan is they're going to take infrastructure dollars to bribe local governments, county governments, and even states into putting up the evil, hated speeding cameras.
Traffic cameras. That's what we need, more traffic cameras.
And then aggressively send the police out to aggressively enforce existing speed limits. But when that isn't sufficient, they're adding extra bucks if you will roll back your speed limits. Guess what? What this means is if you're running late, if you're trying to get to take your kid to school, to get to work, get to the grocery store, for the privilege of all of that, you're going to likely run afoul of the speed camera and your insurance rates go up. But thankfully, this is your money that's paying for all of this.
And when do we expect to see this regulation go into effect or be challenged?
So he plans to implement this regulation immediately. They've already put the rulemaking out, and the real question is going to be, because there are some legal questions about whether or not the federal government can bribe a state to carry out certain responsibilities without congressional authority. And there are some serious political ramifications because 15 years ago, there was a speed light camera movement being pushed by the left, and the American people rose up, pushed back, and all of that ended up getting stopped. What this left-winger as Department of Transportation Secretary is doing is saying, I don't care about any of that. You can't be the better judge about whether or not in a 70-mile zone you're driving 70 miles an hour. Shame on you. Everybody knows you should be driving 55 miles an hour. Now let me add this. When I was just an 11-year-old kid and Jimmy Carter imposed the nationwide speed limit, I became a Republican.
Right.
There weren't a lot of issues
that
I noticed, but that was the issue.
Horace Cooper from Project 21, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.